Okay, here is my explanation of my code for the, I might pronounce this wrong, but diophantine equation problem. So at first I import random for the random numbers that will be at the bottom here. Right here, the random int that I'll be using to actually run the code. And then I actually have two greatest common denominator methods, and I'll explain why in a minute. The first one uses recursion and a helper method to return that recursion. So it takes the two numbers, takes like a third number that just keeps going down until they can both of them can be divided by that third number. And then the second one does not use recursion, but does the same thing without recursion. And then there's finally the diophantine method, which calls one of the methods of greatest common denominator, uses the diophantine equation if and only if the numbers are relatively prime, and if not, it'll return a little print that says it's doing the diophantine equation and what x and y are equal to, and if not, it'll return the greatest common factor with the two numbers. And the reason why I use the two different methods, is because the first one, right now, the first one using recursion inside the main method or the equation method, and it runs fine, but it only runs fine, as you can see the output showing all the 20 numbers, if the 20 numbers are relatively small, so under 1,000. If I go add another digit to them and run it again, you should see that there's errors. That's because there's a recursion limit in Python. So actually, to fix this, to use bigger numbers, I have to take out, not use recursion in the greatest common denominator method. And if I switch over to the other method of greatest common denominator, it works just fine again. So that's the explanation. Very cool to see that the recursion works, but only to a certain limit of how high the numbers go, and to see that it doesn't work when the numbers get too high. So so recursion can work faster, but there's also problems that come with it. So I found it really cool while working on the project. But there's my explanation. Thanks for watching.